If you have donated and have not received your video, shoot me an email and also make sure to check your spam folder. Thank you.
Yeah, I said, bitch, shit, I got all the relics. You know, that's what I do. I capture the relics. Motherfucker gonna tell me, shit, you ain't had this relic. I said, shit then, bitch, what's up?
Now look at this nigga here. This was found at Seep Mound in Ohio. You can see for yourself that all of the coolest artifacts are depicting people. Now think about this for a second. If this face is found in a mound in Ohio, why do they keep showing, well, you know, and I'm not here to speculate on ethnicity for now, only to show you what they found in the mounds that they call a legitimate artifact. Both have a tombstone-shaped face with a bearded man shown in the left profile, and the left arm of both of them is bent. Both men are wearing long gowns and have some sort of domed head covering. Finally, there is an inscription arching over the heads of both men. And this is the picture he's talking about. It's just a duplicate of some stuff that a guy found in Babylon. I mean, look, and this is what they do. There's always some book that they got it from. This is the inspiration. He saw a book because the book was published before it was found. So what he did was he seen this and was like, yo, what if that was Moses, bro? And what if that was in Hebrew? We'll redesign this joint, do some Hebrew. Now, the thing is, I don't really know where we're going to get the Hebrew from. Like, does anybody broke that shit down yet? Is there a good translation on that yet? Nah. Let's go ahead and do that though. Let's go ahead and translate Hebrew on the low. We'll translate Hebrew on the low. Won't tell nobody for the purposes of hoaxing all these niggas. And we'll get paid, nigga. We gonna get them onions, nigga. You know what I mean? We gonna run it up like that. Low key, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Low key stone. You feel me? You see what I did right there? Low key stone, you feel me? low key stone, you feel me? Yeah, we about to get paid. What? Well, what you talking about? Well, we about to have artifacts on deck along stone. Nigga, we out here with it, boy. We out here with it. We gonna run up. We gonna bury that bitch in the mound, right? We just gonna bury it up in there, right? Then bow. One day they're gonna be like, yo, well, let's go over here. You know, we gonna, get a little team of archaeologists or whatever. We're gonna have a whole excavation team, right? And then one day, I'm just gonna be like, hey guys, look what I found over here. I found something, guys. And then it'll appear legit. You feel me? And then we get paid, nigga. That's when niggas get paid. Got them artifacts on deck, the lost stone. Got them artifacts on deck, the lost stone. Got that key, stone. Got that key, stone. Got the heat, bro. They talking lost tribe. They talking lost tribe in Ohio, nigga. Quote, page 257. The Mi'kmaq are a tribe of Algonquin Indians inhabiting Acadia, the eastern provinces of Canada, and they are closely related to various tribes of Maine, commonly called the Wabanaki. Reference to Schoolcraft's great work. Oh yeah, that's right. Schoolcraft created this database of the Indians back in 1851. So he's actually part of the changing of face for the Indian. This was Indian propaganda. And he also worked with the artist, I believe, George Catlin, who's also a source of this new face Indian propaganda. Remember the definition of an American in 1828. So this publication came out in 1851. By then, many of these other populations had begun to resettle in tribal territories, intermarry, and in many cases, if they intermarried with Europeans, they were usurping land. But also, they're usurping the face of what an Indigenous American is through propaganda, like the project perpetuated by Schoolcraft and George Catlin. So they used the artist to create the face of the American Indian at a time when they had photography, so they could have just taken pictures, but they didn't. Continuing, reference to Schoolcraft's great work on the American Indian showed that he reported to Congress in 1851, reading and writing are altogether unknown to them. You see what Schoolcraft did? Reading and writing are unknown to them. Schoolcraft was an American geographer, geologist, and ethnologist, noted for his early studies of Native American cultures, as well as for his expedition in 1832 to the source of the Mississippi River. He is also noted for his 6-volume study of Native Americans, commissioned by Congress, that was published in the 1850s. So he was commissioned by Congress to reappropriate the image of a Native American. Continuing, America, BC. Again, Schoolcraft reported that reading and writing were altogether unknown to them. So he is what? Perpetuating a fraud. Central to the image is a massive comet projecting towards Earth. It is so enormous it dwarfs the mountains depicted at the bottom. Recall all of northeastern Canada down to Ohio was once covered by ice mountains, 2 miles high. The swirling shapes to each side of the comet depicts the destruction that followed the impact. Hidden in these swirls are Hittite Luwian glyphs from the Anatolian region of Turkey. Within every part of this image, there are many numbers. End quote. And I'm going to jump ahead because I'm not going to obviously go through the entire website. I'll include his website in the packet and you can go for yourself and look at his translations of these tablets. Now, whether he's translating them correctly is another thing altogether. But I do believe that there is a language embedded within these quote unquote random designs on these tablets. In the translations that I've read, there seems to be multiple allusions to a comet. All of this Hittite script makes sense, especially if we consider the location of the Tower of Babel. This image fully utilizes the hieroglyphs in use in Anatolia, Turkey in 1200 BC that we must pause to reconsider the possibilities this creates. That the resemblance is purely coincidental? It is from Turkey? It is made in America by someone from Turkey. It was made in America by someone taught and descended by someone from Turkey. A third group of people created and inspired the art. They lived in Turkey in 1200 BC and Kentucky in 500 BC. And it was also written that the adults understood hieroglyphics already. So what did he do? He used their already created system of hieroglyphics to create Catholic propaganda. Micmac is the oldest writing system in America north of Mexico. And what exactly does it resemble? They resemble Egyptian hieroglyphics. Now, don't you think it's just a coincidence that the French were the first to decipher the hieroglyphics and also the first to try to reteach and reappropriate hieroglyphics to the American Indians? Is it just a coincidence? So the French were the first to decipher hieroglyphics. They were also the first to reappropriate Micmac hieroglyphics. But you know, American Indians didn't even have a written language. So what are these? Once again, these charlatans have to say that it wasn't a writing system because then that kills their entire false narrative. If these people were using hieroglyphics, how can we say the Indians didn't have a writing system? It was so long ago, they don't know. We'll say the French Jesuits came in and actually taught them a language using hieroglyphics. And so then you have to enlist all of these charlatans, starting off with the Smithsonian Institution, to say that these people did not have a writing system, even though there are several recorded Catholic priests saying they had a writing system. See, if they would have known that they had to suppress that rather than reappropriate it, they would have never said anything. It's not just Leclerc. There were other Catholic or French missionaries in this area who recorded that these people wrote hieroglyphics. And we're going to go back to Charlatan's Web. Pierre Maillard, Catholic priest during the winter of 1737, 1738, created a system of hieroglyphics that transcribed Micmac words. He used these symbols to write formulas for the principal prayers and the responses of the faithful. There is no direct evidence that Maillard was aware of Leclerc's work in the same field. They didn't even know each other. He had no idea. Maillard left numerous works in the language which continued in use among the Micmac in the 20th century. Once again, Maillard also reappropriated their hieroglyphics. But here it clearly says on Charlatan's Web, he created a system of hieroglyphics. Did he really? How do you create something that was already in use? We can see how close the Jesuits are to the fuckery. But we know this already. So what about these hieroglyphics? Is there really any connection between Micmac and Egyptian?